What is up, guys? The LA Gamer here, and today I am bringing you guys episode 4 of my MLB 17 The Show Fantasy Draft franchise. In today's episode, we will be pitching with Julio Urias, and we will be going up against the lefty Patrick Corbin. So we've got a little lefty v lefty matchup here. We will be the away team in today's matchup, going up against the Angels in Los Angeles Angels Stadium. Obviously, I had kind of an urge to play this team because I live so nearby that stadium. I go to so many games there. I kind of just always enjoy playing in that stadium. Now, I want to tell you guys real quick, the way I'm actually setting up how many games I'm going to play is I think I'm going to play 2 games every single month, and then play almost every single playoff game if we do happen to make playoffs, which will get us to about 15 to 20 episodes a season, maybe even more depending on how well we do in playoffs. But here's a quick little look at the records. You see the Angels are 22-17, and we're sitting pretty low down there at 16-21, so obviously it may be a little bit too soon to talk about playoffs just yet, but I'm not fully concerned. 16-21 record is not all that bad, and we've been slumping pretty bad in terms of hitting slumps and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement as long as we start lighting up the bats a little bit. So you see right here, Trey Turner's going to try to do just that. He's going to knock a ball out of the infield for the first hit in the very first at-bat of the game. As you guys know, Trey Turner has that ridiculous speed, that 97 speed. So watch closely at first base. His very next pitch, we're going to read Patrick Corbin's windup, and we're going to have Trey Turner steal second. Although it will be a very good throw from the catcher, not good enough to throw out Trey Turner there at second base, and not enough to keep our offense rolling. So you see right there is a quick little show track of Trey Turner still in that second base. I think that's a really cool feature that they added into this year. I have really enjoyed it. But either way, we're going to try to knock home that runner from second right there with Trey Turner. Obviously, that was the whole purpose of having him steal second. And we're going to do just that right here. D. Gordon's going to knock one back up the middle. It could be risky going all the way home, especially because there's no outs in the inning. But we're going to take that risk, and it's going to end up panning out for us. That they're not even going to throw it to home. But this won't be the only offense of the inning. You see Giancarlo Stanton's going to come up to bat here, drill a ball over into left field, and that will be good enough to fall. D. Gordon's going to be rounding third. That 99 speed's obviously showing off right now. The shortstop would need to make a spectacular throw, which he will not be able to do, so D. Gordon will score, and we will have Giancarlo Stanton on second, as Chris Carter is going to pound this ball back up through center field, and that is going to go right over that center field wall, good enough to give us a 2-run home run and a 4-0 lead. In the first inning against Patrick Corbin, you see Chris Carter is rounding these bases. Obviously, a lot of excitement out of me, out of the manager. So a 4-0 lead in the first inning is definitely nothing to complain about. That's one thing about our lineup, is it has a lot of power and a lot of pop against lefty pitchers with Giancarlo Stanton and Chris Carter coming up to bat. But that will be, sadly, the only offense we get this inning. You see right here, we're going to ground out to first base. The very next batter for us will come up to bat here, and he's going to ground out to third base, and that will be the second out of the inning. So we're kind of working our way out of here. You see Patrick Corbin's working his way out of the jam that he kind of put himself in. But a 4-0 lead, like I said, regardless of anything that happens here, I definitely don't mind that whatsoever. And then you see right here, we're going to ground out to shortstop, and that is going to result in a 4-0 lead, but 3 straight outs right there. Kind of killed the offensive momentum a little bit. But we're going to try to rejuvenate ourselves, get a bit more momentum here on the defensive side of the ball. You see right here, Julio Urias, though, is going to give up a hit to the very first batter of the game. So bottom of the first right there, they got a runner on first. But we're going to try to work our way out of this with a nice little pitch here with Julio Urias. And we are going to do just that. You see they're going to knock the ball on the ground at third base. We're going to flip it on over to second, then flip it on over to first. And that will be a double play ball to start the game for just the second at bat of the game. So we're working our way out of the jam very early on here. Right here, you see we're at an 0-2 count. Trying to throw a nice pitch here. But sadly, we do not capitalize on that 0-2 count. We don't throw a very good pitch. And their batter is going to knock one right back up the middle for their second hit of the inning. So Urias is going to try to bounce back here, see what we can do. And you see he's going to do just that. As they're going to fly one out to right field. You see Stan's getting under it, and that's going to be a catch right there. And we're going to remain up 4-0, working our way into the next inning. So you see we're moving on here to the top of the second. We didn't wait long to get off the board here. So you see right here, we're going to come up to bat. I believe this is... Who is that? Who's that just hit the ball? I think that's our catcher. He's going to drill one down to left field, and that's going to be good enough to get him a double right there. I know who it is. I have that whole tip of the tongue. There it is. Mike Zunino. He's going to drill that one down the left field line. Now up, Joe Mauer's going to crank one over the second baseman's head. Good enough for another gapper. And that is going to result in him barely sliding into second safely. But that will be good enough, obviously, for Mike Zunino to score from second. And that's going to put us up 5-0. So we're going to try to continue this little rally we got going on. You see we're going to ground one on over to shortstop. But that's Trey Turner running. And they're not going to throw it on over to first fast enough to throw him out. and that's going to be another hit this inning. And if that's not a good enough hit right there, D. Gordon's going to do basically the exact same thing. Lay down a bunt straight to the second baseman, and with his ridiculous speed, he's going to run it out and get another single. So we got bases loaded with no outs. Giancarlo Stanton coming up to bat, and he's going to ground into a double play. So not exactly the excitement I was looking for. Stan's not exactly having the best year for me. For some reason, whenever I hit the ball with him, there's no takeoff. It's the weirdest thing. But regardless of that, Chris Carter's going to paddle him right back up the middle. That's going to be another RBI for us in this inning. Chris Carter, however, I am playing phenomenally with him. But like I said, for some reason, Giancarlo Stanton, whenever I get great contact, it's like he just hits ground balls for some reason. And that's obviously not what I got him for. I got him to hit some home runs, and I got him to at least hit some doubles or something, but we haven't seen a whole lot of that out of him just yet. You see right here is another highlight with Giancarlo Stanton up to bat. This time at least he gets under the ball, but just this time he got under it just a tad too much, as the center fielder is going to get under there and get the first out of the inning. So Stanton's not coming up doing anything too exciting right there. But either way, we're up 7-0. We're just trying to extend this lead a little bit more, give ourselves a little bit more room to work with. As you see, Chris Carter will come up to bat, knock this one right on the left side of the infield, and that will sneak out of the infield for a single right there. That's the great thing, like I said, having Chris Carter. For some reason, every time he hits the ball, it somehow seems to be a hit every single time. So you see right here, we're going to run out the double play. The first base, or the runner on first base, will remain safe. And you see right here, we're going to try to knock him home. And we are going to do just that. As you see right here, we're going to knock one over to right field, right past the right fielder's glove. And we're going to have our runner go all the way home. It's going to be a very close throw, a very close play at the plate. But we are going to avoid the tag by just about a second. Sadly though, that will be the only runs for us in that inning. And you see right there, we're moving on a little bit now into the game. I think it shows it's 9-2. So you see we're moving on here, trying to keep them off the board. Now there's a few runs that were not shown right there. You see it was 8-0. Now it's 9-2. I'm sure you guys are semi confused as to what happened there. So what I want to emphasize is that there was some major corruption issues when it came to recording this gameplay. Just a weird glitch occurred with my editing process that kept messing up the play. So the only real way I'd be able to show this footage is if I left out like 2 innings, and that's where I scored a run and the Angels scored 2 runs. But you will still see a little bit of offense out of the Angels. You see right here, they're knocking a few hits home. So I just want to explain why you missed a few runs. And after those few hits, you see right there, they're going to knock a ball into shallow left field, good enough for the runner on third to score. So it's now first and second with only 1 out. So we're trying to work our way out of the jam now. We have Jonathan Broxton in the game. We're not able to make that diving catch there with Trey Turner. I probably should have just stayed on my feet. Maybe then I would have been able to make that catch. But I thought the diving grab I thought it would have worked, and I also thought it would have looked a bit cooler. But right there, you see bases loaded. We're going to try to throw out the runner at home, but not quite a good enough arm out of our left fielder to throw him out. And that's going to result in their 4th run of the game, their 2nd run of the inning. But Broxton will work out of this little jam right here by forcing a nice little fly out to center field. We are going to catch that one, walk our way back into the dugout, and we're going to be up 9-4. Now, we kind of shut down any other offensive possibilities from that point on. You see, we're moving on now to the bottom of the 9th. Broxton's going to strike out the first batter. Broxton's going to strike out the second batter. And why not strike out all 3? Why not strike out the side? Let's see what we can do. He's going up one more time, and he is going to strike out the 3rd batter. So there you go. You see, we're going to walk out of here with a 9-4 victory. You see, Julio Urias is excited to get a win on the board. Obviously, we're excited as well. If you remember, our record wasn't too great at the start of this episode. So obviously, any chance for us to improve that record just a little bit is something that I'm looking forward to doing. And you see right here, we're going to walk out of here with a 9-4 victory. So that's not even a close win. That's a pretty huge win right there. I'm excited primarily that we finally get a win with this team after the first 2 episodes, or the first 2 games that I showed you guys. Obviously, we came out and we're not able to win the game, and that was something I was a little bit worried about. I was like, damn, am I playing on too hard of a difficulty? It turns out that I just was not feeling myself at that period of time. But recently, been able to play this game pretty good. I might have to up the difficulty here pretty soon. As we're gonna walk in here, obviously with a 5-run victory, we got 16 hits. That may be a bit too many. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But either way, if you guys enjoyed, please click that like button below. Make sure to comment your opinion of the series and what I could do to make it more interesting in the comment section below. And lastly, subscribe if you have not already to stay tuned to this series and other series I got going on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching and all the support you've been showing on this series. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.